Baggy Hi-Fi loves you to the moon and back.
Greetings, teeny boppers and greasy rockers. Welcome to Baggy Hi-Fi, this YouTube channel devoted to record collecting and the vinyl community here in the UK. Well, this latest short video is about a recent trip to a record fair, or record show as I believe they're called in the USA. Now, I live in a small town, so we don't get many record fairs. In fact, probably about 2 a year. And I missed the last one, so that'll explain why I was fairly excited that there was a local record fair that I could walk to. Now, it was advertised on social media, so I did have an idea of when it was and what time it would begin. And so I went along, and it was at the local rugby club. But I didn't realise it was going to be in a tent. It's the first record fair I've been in a tent, well, a sort of a marquee type thing, which was placed quite near the rugby pitch where a match was going on. So there was a lot of noise going on outside. And going to that record fair reminded me that the experience of going to a record fair is different from going to a record shop, because the people who go to them, the record fair, are much more likely to be real enthusiasts. And so it's interesting to listen to the conversation of people flicking through the boxes and chatting to the vendors and talking about such things as, you know, have you got a copy of that Jade Warrior album from 1972? So yeah, a lot of enthusiasts there. I did bump into some people I knew also. In fact, I bumped into someone about my age, who maybe a bit younger, who was there with his teenage son. And I either impressed the teenage son, because the teenage son was buying quite a lot of late 70s, early 80s punk singles. See, all comes around in the end. And he had some records by the Angelic Upstarts, and I did mention that I had seen the Angelic Upstarts a few times back in my youth, so I think he was either impressed or bored by this old codger talking about his youth. Anyway, it was a pleasant experience. I only bought 3 records. I'm going to show them in this video. So this is the first one. Probably a record I wouldn't have bought a few years ago, and it's a sort of genre, micro genre of early 70s UK rock, which I've really come to like, and I have been buying quite a few records by one of the bands on this record, because it is a collective record. It's Christmas at the Patty in Swansea, so it's a live double 10-inch. Not usually that keen on 10-inch records, but I've always liked the packaging on this one, and I've seen it in a few used record shops, but I haven't taken the plunge, because one of the main bands on here, one of the main Welsh bands on here from the early 70s is Man. I haven't seen that many people talk about Man, but this one was a Christmas show in the, as I say, the Patty Pavilion, Swansea, December the 19th, 1972. I mentioned this sort of micro genre. It was in the early 70s. There were some British bands who were probably influenced by American country rock bands and bands like the Grateful Dead. So they're playing sort of quite rootsy music, but with a lot of guitar and a little touch of psychedelia, I suppose. So Man are on here with Deke Leonard as the guitarist, but there's a mixing of lineups, and who else is on here? Ducks Deluxe, who were a pub rock band around that time. Help Yourself, who were sort of similar to Man, maybe a bit more country tinged. And Dave Edmunds is on here. The legendary Dave Edmunds, of course, another Welsh rocker. So, as I say, I don't really like 10 inches as a format, but I do like this artwork, this sort of 1940s, 30s style artwork. It's a definitely of its time. You can almost smell the roll-ups and the sweaty armpits. And I think it made me realise, you know, my enthusiasm for this type of stuff from the early 70s. It's to do with nostalgia, and I think it's to do with the era just as much as the music. But the music's good as well. It's very much sort of jamming, good time music. There are some Christmas tunes on here as well. Dave Edmunds Edmonds doing Jingle Bells and Run Run Rudolph, mixed by Dave Edmonds at Rockfield Studios. So that's Christmas at the Patty, featuring Man Help Yourself, guest appearances of Dave Edmonds, BJ Cole. Probably this is something that Headley might like. Next one's fairly different. This is from the late 70s now, and it's by Steve Hillage, live double album, Live Herald on Virgin. Again, like 10-inch records, I'm not really keen on live albums, but I played this one once and it's very well recorded and shows that arch hippie Steve Hillage with his woolly hat stretching out, and it's almost like the last gasp of Canterbury in some ways, but a very well recorded live album by Steve Hillage. Next one a little bit earlier. This is in the £5 box by Al Stewart, a singer who started off around about the same time as Bert Jansch and people like that in the folk clubs of London. But he had much more of a literary bent. His lyrics were very important, and went on to great success in the 70s with Year of the Cat and all that kind of sort of easy listening, not easy listening, but sort of adult oriented rock, but with that literary, well enunciated style of Al Stewart, which I guess is sort of unique to him. But this is his first album, Bedsitter Images, recorded in 1967. Probably could be my favourite album of his. It's very much Baroque, lots of orchestration on here. I think this is a reissue, early reissue from the early 70s, but as Al Stewart was becoming fairly popular. Don't think the first time around this was much of a hit, but I like the sepia toned sleeve. Probably going to do a needle drop from this. As I say, very Baroque orchestration going on here. Everything but the kitchen sink. Do like this one. Had it on CD for a while, so it's nice to get a cheap copy. CBS red orange label, and there's a bit of scribbling on the back here, which says in memory of Dave, December 1971, the only thin/fat man I know. So I don't know what the story was there. Of course I don't know what the story was, but I don't mind record sleeves to have a little bit of period scribbling on them. So that's Al Stewart. Now, after the needle drops, I'm going to show some records I bought recently at a charity shop and from the same town, a place I've never been to before. So enjoy these needle drops. See you after those.
train fades from sight. Alone in my room, I must stay until it's over. While these wild better images come back to hem me in.
The charity shop where they found these records was in a town called Gisborough. Gisborough's just in very top point of North Yorkshire. Nice town, place I'd seen when I was travelling to Whitby one time earlier this year. Thought nice to go back there, so I did go back there, and it's a sort of posh, well-off place. So you do find charity shops in middle-class areas. I usually have better stuff, and yeah, these are not amazing finds, but ones I was quite pleased with. Now, in charity shops, especially in the UK, you see lots of TV theme albums, usually on things like the labels like Music for Pleasure and Contour. These are sort of similar, but the content swung it for me to buy them. They are from a Reader's Digest box set called TV Themes, I think. Yeah, the Great TV Themes. But I just bought these 2 volumes because the themes from the TV programmes I haven't seen on any other TV albums. This won't mean anything to people in the USA. Well, I think you may have heard of Coronation Street. Coronation Street, Crossroads, The Forsyte Saga, Man Alive, May Gray, Steptoe & Son, Dixon of Dock Green, Dr. Kildare, even Americans will know that, Stingray, fantastic, by Barry Gray, of course, and the themes to Star Trek. So that one would be recognised, this volume, The Great TV Themes, volume 7. This other one was one I really wanted, and I bought. It's volume 1, TV Themes of Today. Now, today was probably something like 1977. So on here, on this one, you've got Upstairs Downstairs, Last of the Summer Wine, Poldark, Hadley, The Adventures of Black Beauty, Sailing, Van der Valk, When the Bird Comes In, The Palaces, New Faces, which was a sort of trendier version of Opportunity Knocks, You're a Star, You're a Star, sung by Carl Wayne, X of the Move, something for for Move completists perhaps, Doctor Who, of course, the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, MASH, and the one I really wanted because it was a great TV series, Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads, and the theme is Whatever Happened to You, and performed by some members of Manfred Mann, Mike Hugg, under the title of Highly Likely. Such a sort of wistful, bittersweet theme tune, because Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads was about the 2 Northeast lads coming back together again. One was upwardly mobile, another one was on the dole, but really brilliant series if you haven't seen it. So I'll probably do a needle drop of Whatever Happened to You, the Likely Lads. Now, you may laugh at this next one, but I almost was going to buy this one on Discogs. Not really worth anything, $1.99 or whatever. It's a BBC album. Not a sound effects album, but it is recordings of birds, woodland and garden birds. Double album, one for all you ornithologists out there. And it's the way the record's put together is under seasons. So side 1, record 1 is late winter and spring. Band 2, February. Band 3, March. Inside record 2, city birds. And side 2 of record 2 is the outer suburbs, from summer to the end of the year, and late summer and early autumn. So we are in autumn at the moment, and the tree's looking lovely, so it was nice to have recordings of the birds we might hear in this current season. But what is made me smile, apart from how well put together this thing is that I thought it just might be the bird song, but it's not, because each recording is introduced by a very well spoken ornithologist expert. So again, bit of nostalgia, And it's nice to have a record where the artists are the birds themselves. So that's another charity shop find. Again, not rare, but ones which I found pleasing to listen to. So that's it for now. See you in the next video, and bye.
In October, the tawny owls often hold territories, which they proclaim with their hoots. These two are listening to each other.